Alright, some further work on the radiator rod out project for this Jeep, 1988. You can see that this is down in the channel, down at the bottom there, it's screaming shiny, but it's not right here, it's not right there, and it's not up here. It's not shiny. So what I'll try to do is show you my top secret patented method. Okay, see that? See how bad that is in there? Wish I had my brass one, I don't know where it is, but stainless is okay. Whatever you use, you don't want to scratch the brass because it's a sealing surface. You want it polished, smooth. Okay, so that's coming along good. So, this is one of the methods you use for prepping this for the O-ring. And it works pretty darn good. Alright, so I got to get the corner a little bit. Try some left-handed action here. So I can get my way into the corner a little bit. There we go. That helped. There we go. I was lucky enough to find a guy, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, which sometimes I do. 928 Porsche Forum. RENN something.com. About almost 10 years ago, about 9 years ago, a guy, their radiators, these tabs break off easy, and their radiators then were $100. So, the guy used blocks of wood and made his own clamps because all these broke off, and it was very ingenious. But what I needed was a way to clamp the tank on, and he clamped the tank using C-clamps, maybe 6-inch C-clamps, and blocks. The main block of wood across the top was, I think, a big piece of oak. So it did okay. It did real well for him. All right. The corners are kind of important to get clean. Well, anything in this whole project is important to get clean. That's just how it is. So I'm not going to bore the holy hell out of you like I've done. See, that's just, that's not bad at all. So this needs a little touch up through here. Probably going to need, I think I'm going to try some green Scotch-Brite. I have a little bit of that around. Yeah, that's getting better. That's getting better. So here's one step. I still haven't cleaned this thing here. I will, don't worry. I'm just trying to do the hard work first because it gets so hot out. Okay, now I'm going to take you and show you something else. So hang tough just a second. 2 tanks. This is the original off the 88. Sorry for the creaking, mysterious creaking. And there is one off of, I don't know what year. I went down to the Friendly Neighborhood Radiator repair shop, and he had this off of a tank somewhere. sorry, off of a Jeep radiator somewhere, and he just gave it to me. And it has our radiator cap end on it. So, what did I have to do to make this work? Well, this fitting is a male flare tubing on this end, and it turns out on the other end it's female. So it just screwed into there. I unscrewed it and put it over here. Perfect. So for the 88 Renix Jeeps, that's perfect. This sensor came from mine. Ooh, did you see the spider? This sensor came from this one, and this plastic plug with an O-ring on it came from this one, and it just unscrewed. I mean, it was finger loose. He probably did it himself. But anyway, it's a perfect swap. Just perfect. That's all. That's the only difference between the 88 through 90s and the 91 and above is just what I showed you. It's great. I'm tickled. So now this is normal. This one's caved in even more. So what I'm going to do probably, you just push them on, and the top of the tank is rounded, and it'll just spread this back out. No big deal. The other thing I did was, here's our O-ring. I gently, with soap and water, cleaned all the old rust on it that was caked. There's not a crack in this thing. Not a single crack. So the question is, what? He's going to reuse an O-ring? I defy you to try and find one. I found a shop that the friendly neighborhood radiator guy said, hey, try the place in California called All Radiator. You can look them up on YouTube and see their videos. I didn't know that some of the videos that I put in my playlist were from those guys. Apparently they sell stuff. Now their tools page is not up right now. But I'll call them. Today's Sunday. I'll call them tomorrow and see if they have a fresh O-ring. I would like one. I want this to succeed. And I don't want to have to use sealant on it if I can help it. But for homebrew DIY, I think sealant's fine. You put some in the tank, drop the O-ring in. I mean, put some in the header on the radiator, drop the O-ring in, and then put some more in, and drop this in, and you probably have a good seal. I got 500 degree black stuff for $13.80 off of Amazon. So anyway, that's it. We now have a wonderful. The other thing about this that really helps is now I can hook my pressure tester up to this, and I can pump the radiator up myself. I like the ideas of using my air compressor and regulated air pressure because it would be a lot faster. Radiator testing, you usually do it dry. The inside of the radiator is totally dry. To pump it up to 15 or 16 pounds with that little thing would take forever. So we'll see. I may still do it that way, but at least once it's in the vehicle and stuff, I can pressure test the whole system with that. So it needs a little scrubbing, yes. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you guys. Way too up close, but that's how it goes. Isn't that a beauty? Isn't that a beautiful thing? The swap was perfect. Everything went perfect. Just FYI, this had some sealant on the the last couple threads up against the hex, and it was in good shape, so I just screwed it in. I don't know what it was. I don't know what kind of sealant it was, but it also had a big flat machine spot on this thing, but I think it was the threads that did it. I don't think they were pipe threads, but they could have been. It just didn't look like it to me, because it did get tighter right at the end, so I think it'll be fine. That's why you want to pressure check your work before you stick it in the car, because it's a pain in the butt. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3 straps ready to go. The other thing I thought I'd try is because I've been doing a bunch of HVAC work under my house from a lightning strike and a bunch of leaks and stuff, is these are 3-foot tie wraps. Can you even see those? They're huge. They're like probably not quite 3/8 of an inch wide. And a tightening tool, and I was going to use those to tie, let's see, where's the, to tie the tank, you see there's a gap under there, right here, and a gap from the fins. Put the tie wrap through, wrap it around the tank and cinch it down, and that'll put pressure on this. So I picked that idea up from the 928 Porsche forum. A guy probably 8 or 9 years ago did a video on it, or a post on it, and I thought it was a great idea. It might actually help compress the tank down until all those fingers get bent over to seal the O-ring. So we'll see. I'm still going to try tomorrow to get a new O-ring, but that could be impossible. The other thing I'll do is put a block of wood on top of the tank so you can cinch it down without loading up the tank too bad. That would go something like that. Alright, so it spreads the load out evenly across the plastic, no matter how much you wrench on it, you know. So anyway, got the straps, got the tie wraps. I think that's about it. I think that'll get us going. We'll find out. Alright, see you, bye. Alright, what do you say we take care of this? Might be noisy.